Yo, yo, yo. This the song I wrote if I died. I was on the 50 mile doing 9-5. Beating the pussy like he ain't got 9 lives and I'm high. Mix a rock and some blunts cause you only live once. Cause you only live once. Cause you only live once. Once. Yo, yo, yo. White girl.
With the lines and the letters, with the verbs and the nouns. Just a kid trying to get his sound heard around. Jump into Cyphers and keep the old timers astounded. They said he was the best in his surroundings, cause everyone around him was drowning. And the fair one, no one son could pound him. With the lyrics, you pray you hear it. They say his bad hood couldn't match his good spirit. And one day his mom and dad would be cheering to his Grammy nomination and proclamation to his world domination, inauguration into greatness, from making rations to caking.
Javon Scott, aka Joey Badass, was born in Brooklyn, New York in January of 1995. His family originated from the island of St. Lucia in the Caribbean on his mother's side. He is Jamaican on his father's side. Joey was the first of his immediate Caribbean family to be born in the United States. Unfortunately, his mother and father split around the time that he was 5. This led to Joey being raised by his single mother, who had to work multiple jobs to make ends meet. Due to this, Joey was forced to be home alone a lot. To fill this empty time when his mother was not around, Joey drowned himself in music. He listened to the likes of rap legends Nas, Tupac, Black Thought, MF Doom, J Dilla, Andre 3000, Jay-Z, Biggie, etc. Joey details this period of his life in the song OCB, aka Only Child Blues, on his debut album Before the Money.
Mama was never home. Woke up one morning, Papa was gone. Young and lost, so I eased my mind to popular songs.
Fast forwarding a little bit, and for high school, Joey attended Edward R. Murrow High School. It was at this school that Joey enrolled to study acting, but transitioned towards music around the time of 9th grade with a focus on rapping. He started rapping under the name J.O.V., but eventually changed it to Joey Badass. Joey says that the name change was due to the media's focus on rappers with more cynical names, saying that it was what sounded cool at the time. His early work can still be found online. One of the more popular things that occurred during this time was a freestyle of Joey rapping being posted online in 2010. Joey was only 15 years old at the time.
That's why I got braces. Had to go and get my whole mouth incarcerated, cause I spit it like I'm Biggie in the past, like I'm ancient. And if you think you spit hot, then watch me spit Satan. Look, logically, I define astronomy. I said I live on cloud infinity, spitting hot meteorology. And pardon me for my greatness, my apologies. And now I don't need this Twitter shit for these souls to follow me. You follow me?
From this freestyle, you can clearly see the potential that Joey had at such a young age. This freestyle was posted to World Star Hip Hop and caught the attention of Johnny Shipes. This is the man who founded Cinematic Music Group, and he soon became Joey's manager. In a Vlad TV interview, Joey talks about leaving his house for school and seeing that Johnny contacted him via Twitter. Joey did some research on who Johnny was and saw that he was legit. This is when Joey knew that music could be a real avenue for him. The very next month after Joey's freestyle was posted online, he had his first performance.
So therefore, if this is what your ears for, listen up so you rap dudes can hear more. I'm so fly, I'm competing with the Air Force. I'm the new G6, tell them I declare war.
During this time, Joey was still in high school, and this is where he met CJ Fly, Capital STEEZ, and Powers Pleasant, who were early members of the hip-hop collective The Progressive Era, or Pro Era for short. The four of them spent their school days ciphering in the auditorium.
I call that shit pussy fit. I'm from a place you get your stussy stripped if you want some pussy shit. It's like a jungle sometimes that make me wonder. Fiends, high lines, and the ass cracks like good plumbers. Since I was one, I can't recall a good summer without a homie getting done up onto a good gunner.
The story goes that in the spring of 2011, STEEZ had a show in a cafe in Brooklyn, and future Pro Era members Powers Pleasant, Joey Badass, and Dirty Sanchez came to show him support. When STEEZ was riding the bus home afterward, STEEZ began talking with Powers Pleasant, and they both came up with the idea of forming a hip-hop group. From these talks came the idea of the name of the group, which became Pro Era. About the formation of the group, Joey is quoted as saying, "I wasn't the founder. There were two, there was STEEZ and Powers who had created it, but then they both brought in me and CJ, and then we founded the group from there. Ever since then, we've been multiplying." It would be at the start of 2012 when Joey got a big break. Before this, Pro Era released their debut mixtape, The Sex Tape, in February of 2012. This released on Valentine's Day that year. I'm not a huge fan of this mixtape, and the only song that I really like from it is Panty Raid. A little over a week after the release of The Sex Tape, Joey released his breakout song Survival Tactics featuring STEEZ.
Niggas don't want war, I'm a Martian with an army of Spartans. Spawn with a knife in a missile fight. Get your intel right.
Joey and STEEZ absolutely ripped this track, and it earned them a lot of attention. In an interview with Complex back in 2012, Joey Badass revealed that the music video for Survival Tactics was supposed to come out in December of 2011, but things did not work out. To capitalize off of the buzz that Joey received from Survival Tactics, he released his classic debut mixtape 1999 in June of 2012. For the 2 years leading up to this mixtape, after Joey was discovered by Johnny Shipes, Joey was in what he calls training camp. Joey had to simply sit back and wait for his time, as it took 2 years for him to make 1999. Upon its release, the mixtape 1999 received widespread acclaim from both fans and critics. People looked at Joey, Pro Era, and others in the underground scene at the time as the re-emergence of what's regarded as the golden age of rap, which is the 90s. Some people get confused on why Joey titled his mixtape 1999 when he was born in 1995, but in an interview he explained, "There is a lot of confusion about me titling the mixtape 1999. People refer to the 90s as the golden age of hip hop, and 99 being the last year is like a last hope type of thing. And it also intervenes with the whole Y2K thing. So it's not only the last hope in hip hop, it's the last hope in the world. You know the whole Y2K theory, people were thinking 99 was the last year on Earth. It's funny because now it's 2012 and people are thinking the same stuff. It's some subconscious stuff." Joey was just 16 years old at the time when he released 1999, and he was still attending high school. Ultimately, Joey would not graduate. This is something that he did not admit until 2019 in an interview with The Therapist. Great interview, by the way, with Joey detailing his backstory and some of the hardships he's had to endure in his life. But that 1999 mixtape was middle school for me, man. I was a huge Pro Era and Joey fan in middle school. Those were the times for sure. One of my favorite songs from the project is hands down Waves.
Since 9-5, mama's been working 9-5, and I know the landlord fed up with our lies.
Months after the release of 1999, Joey released a project titled Rejects. This project is comprised of songs that Joey did not want on 1999. This is evident by the cover art of the project, where the cover art of 1999 is crumpled up. There are some great tracks on here that I think should have been on 1999, and those are Panty Raid, which was also on The Sex Tape, Flow-ers, and DSL. In late December of 2012, Pro Era released their Peep the Apocalypse mixtape, and this is another tape that I constantly had on repeat in middle school. The tracks Run or Fly, The Renaissance, Resurrection of Real, School High, Last Cypher, Bun and Cheese, and Lawns are really good, especially Last Cypher, and still to this day, I don't know who had the best verse on it. Maybe STEEZ, Joey, or CJ, I can't really tell.
Where I'm from, hearts don't get broken, they get stolen. Say the wrong sentence, nigga, put a semi to your coding.
I cannot speak enough about how much I love this mixtape. Everyone did their thing, and I really thought that Joey, Pro Era, and the rest of the Beast Coast movement would be the next big thing. In terms of Pro Era, Joey Bada$ was definitely being positioned as the quote-unquote star of the group. This was very evident, and you can even go back to old interviews and Joey Bada$ is being asked the majority of the questions. Plus, Joey had a crazy buzz after the release of 1999. There were big plans for Pro Era, but sadly, a couple days after the release of Peep the Apocalypse, STEEZ passed away. I can't say exactly what STEEZ did due to YouTube purposes, but yes, it was very tragic what actually happened. This was a huge blow, not just to Pro Era, but the whole Beast Coast movement. Aside from Joey Bada$ in Pro Era, STEEZ was another guy that people were very interested in. STEEZ's passing deeply affected Joey, which is something that he still struggles with today. On his last album, 2000, he has a song titled Survival's Guilt addressing the situation. Really crazy that people made conspiracies about Joey sacrificing STEEZ for all of these years. Survival's Guilt is incredibly sad because Joey takes partial blame for STEEZ's death in the sense that he did not have anyone around him when he was drowning from the wave that Joey and Pro Era caught. Some people speculate that STEEZ was jealous of Joey over his success and how the label was propping him up to be the next big star, but to my knowledge, this is all speculation. Rest in peace to STEEZ though. I really do not want to dedicate a huge chunk of this video to delving into his death and the drama that came from it. Y'all know I really just like to focus on the music. Shortly after STEEZ's death, January of 2013 came around and Joey Bada$ released the first single from his project, Summer Nights. This single was Unorthodox, which was produced by DJ Premier.
Looking at popular colored faces, observing what my brother's faces, and all races, lost to generations of all hatred.
This is the song that actually got me into Joey Bada$. I don't think that I heard it right when it came out, but when I first heard Unorthodox, I was blown away. I became a fan of Joey sometime around 2013, 2014. I can't remember exactly when, but I do remember also discovering STEEZ through him, and I was very sad when I found out that STEEZ had recently passed away. A couple months after the release of Unorthodox in March of 2013, it was announced that Joey Bada$ was going to be a part of XXL's 2013 freshman class alongside Ab-Soul, Action Bronson, Angel Hayes, Chief Keef, Dizzy Wright, Kurt Cobain, Logic, Schoolboy Q, Travis Scott, and Trinidad James. For those who don't know, every year XXL picks several artists that they predict will be the future. The 2013 class is a very solid class, I'm not gonna lie. One of the best ones in my opinion. It definitely aged extremely well. It was definitely a great look that Joey made the list, especially at the time when the XXL cover actually meant something. Months after this, in July, Joey Bada$ released his second mixtape, Summer Nights. Pretty solid mixtape to be honest with you, with songs like Long Live Stilo, Hillary Swank, Death of YOLO, Satellite, etc. By far, my favorite song from this mixtape is 95 Till Infinity.
Bastard, I drop knowledge like a 5%er. Every time I drop a line, it touch like 5%ers.
Summer Nights was initially planned to be released as an EP to prelude the release of Joey Bada$'s debut album, but instead it was announced to be a full-length mixtape. Also, while we're on the year of 2013, Joey Bada$$ was featured on A$AP Rocky's song One Train off of his album Long Live A$AP with Kendrick Lamar, Yellow Wolf, Danny Brown, Action Bronson, and Big Crit. This was a big platform for Joey because literally this song is 6 minutes of pure heat. In my opinion though, I believe that Big Crit had the best verse on the song. He rapped like he had something to prove, and you can clearly hear this. It's really evident. Joey Bada$$ was around 17 or 18 when the song dropped. Rocky, Kendrick, and Big Crit were all in their mid-20s. Action Bronson was in his late 20s, and Danny Brown was in his early 30s. It's very impressive that a kid the same age of a senior in high school held his own with grown men in terms of rapping. In August of 2014, Joey Bada$$ released the first single from his upcoming debut album, Before the Money, titled Big Dusty, with the music video coming out 8 days later. The next month in September, the second single from the album titled Christ Conscious premiered on MTV Jams. I remember when the song dropped and I was super hyped for the album. Joey Bada$$ went off on Christ Conscious and it ended up becoming the most popular song from the album.
I'm the nigga that you see when you in the mirror. Say my name 5 times, this what I deliver.
When questioned about the song, Joey said, "That record to me is like I'm here. The whole idea of the song is I'm building up, channeling my energy, getting stronger and stronger until one day I finally evolve. And that's what it is in the video, me ascending to this next level." After Christ Conscious, Joey released a few more singles for his debut album, but they did not match the success of Christ Conscious. Finally, in January of 2015, Joey Bada$$ released his debut album, Before the Money. The album peaked at number 5 on the Billboard 200, selling 54,000 copies in its first week. Before the Money topped the independent albums chart, and he also had the top R&B and hip-hop album in the country. The really cool thing about this album was that it was released on Joey Bada$$'s 20th birthday. I've also always loved the title of the album. It's pretty clever how they broke down Joey's last name like that. Some of my favorite songs from Before the Money has to be Save the Children, Paper Trails, OCB, and Hazel's Views. Before the Money was met with generally positive reviews, but I remember personally not really feeling this album that much when it first came out. I preferred his mixtapes, but going through the album again while making this video, I still feel like Before the Money was alright in my opinion. Despite this, like I said, the album was still a success and Joey would soon explore ventures outside of music. Months after the release of Before the Money, the Emmy award-winning TV series Mr. Robot premiered in June of 2015. Joey was cast in the reoccurring role of Leon. Leon is a friend of the main character in the show named Elliot. I've only seen bits and pieces of the show online, and I've seen people praise Joey's work as Leon on the show. Mr. Robot has amazing reviews, averaging 94% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 93% average audience score. I definitely might have to check it out one day. It seems like an interesting TV series. In an interview with Rolling Stone, Joey was asked about how he got his role for the character of Leon. There was a casting call. I auditioned for the role of Leon. I got 3 callbacks and I was finally casted. That's pretty much how it happened. My character is basically speaking to the main character in this diner, so it wasn't hard at all. It's simple actually. I just went in the audition and I had my lines memorized like literally 5 minutes before I walked in the room because I had no time to rehearse because of my busy schedule. And yeah, I just went in there and Sam Ismail was right there when I auditioned. I had him laughing from the very moment that I started doing my lines. I was pretty confident after that. As I mentioned earlier, the only acting experience that Joey had before Mr. Robot was acting in a couple of plays when he was in high school. Mr. Robot was only the start for him in terms of acting because he soon landed more opportunities. During the filming of the show, Joey started to work on his second studio album, which we know today as All American Badass. In May of 2016, Joey Badass released the lead single for All American Badass, which was Devastated.
I used to feel so devastated. At times I thought we never make it.
This is one of Joey's most popular songs ever, with it going double platinum in 2022, being Joey's only song to go platinum, or even double platinum for that matter. The song Devastated is about the problems that Joey dealt with before the fame, and he wondered why he had yet to blow up. The next single for All American Badass did not come out until January of 2017. This was the song Land of the Free. According to Joey, the song has triple significance because it was released on his birthday, the day that former President Donald Trump was inaugurated, and the second anniversary of his debut album Before the Money. Finally, in April of 2017, Joey's sophomore album All American Badass was released. This album peaked at number 5 on the Billboard 200, selling 51,000 albums in its first week. The day the album released is significant because it pays respect to capital STEEZ. All American Badass released on April 7th of 2017. April is the 4th month of the year, and the album released on the 7th day of that month. 4-7 or 47 is a number that STEEZ was infatuated with due to his belief that the number was a perfect expression of balance in the world. All American Badass remains Joey's most popular album, with the song Temptation going gold, and like I said, Devastated went double platinum. With All American Badass, Joey came with a very different sound than Before the Money. The All American Badass album was more politically charged. The title of the album pays tribute to Ice Cube's 1990 album America's Most Wanted and Capital STEEZ's 2012 mixtape American Corruption. These two projects represented a shift in Joey's personal thoughts. Now that Joey had been visible for years and had grown a sizable fan base, he wanted to use his voice to bring light to what he felt like were injustices. It started with this one song called Babylon that features Chronics. I made that song after the death of Freddie Gray in Baltimore, Maryland. I was just so fired up because that year in general, 2015, there was a lot of killings of unarmed black men by police officers. It was really being pushed in the news and the media. It started to make me feel like I was somewhat responsible to do something about it. There comes a point in a musician's life, especially when the community is undergoing a lot of stuff, where you start to feel like you need to speak up. It's about flexing my freedom of speech as much as I can. Another cause for the shift in the sound of this album was the perception of Joey before it released. He was being helmed as this kid who was bringing back the 90s boom bap type rap in the 2010s. This is something that he was cool with at first, but grew to dislike it due to people essentially putting him into a box. Joey Badass felt like he was more than capable of doing other things and being more versatile. This album proves so. In the summer of 2017 though, Joey Badass released Love Is Only a Feeling. This remains one of Joey's most popular songs to date, with it going gold and having over 400 million plays on Spotify alone.
I love her curves, but what's more preferred is the way she articulates words. Can't help observe.
At the tail end of 2017, Joey Badass announced via Twitter that he was originally featured on Post Malone's track Rockstar along with T-Pain.
It's that amethyst rock star light, might not make it. Drop gems till I shine bright, just be patient.
The official version of Rockstar ended up featuring 21 Savage and did not feature T-Pain or Joey Badass. I'm not gonna lie though, I do like T-Pain's verse, but I don't really feel like Joey fit on the original version of the song. 21 definitely did the song justice. In a tweet, Joey said that he co-wrote the song with Post Malone and he ended up receiving a songwriter credit. This is how Joey quietly got his first #1 song. He also said that he was going to ghostwrite more in 2018. Rockstar ended up topping the Billboard Hot 100 for 8 weeks. As of 2020, the song is diamond, meaning that it has sold over 10 million units. In 2018, Joey reissued 1999 on all streaming services and vinyl for its 6th anniversary. In a following interview with Peter Rosenberg, Joey also revealed that he was now a father. Aside from these things, the only other notable info about 2018 that I could find is the late rapper XXXTentacion announcing a collab project between him and Joey. In March of 2018, the two dropped a remix to the song King's Dead.
At 17, I made 6 figures. Immature, young, rich nigga. By 21, I made a meal twice. Your dreams, my real life.
Not that long after this, Joey featured on X's sophomore album on the song Infinity 888. Sadly, this collab project between the two never came to fruition due to X's passing in June of 2018, just a couple months after the release of his sophomore album, RPX. In May of 2019, the album Escape from New York released. This was the debut album of Beast Coast, which is an East Coast rap supergroup of Pro Era, The Underachievers, and Flatbush Zombies. It was a long time coming for fans, and I swear I play the song Distance from this album like every day. Towards the end of 2019, in September, the Wu-Tang in American Saga series premiered. In this show, Joey Bada portrayed Inspector Deck of the legendary rap group the Wu-Tang Clan. He only acted in a few episodes of the first season, and for the second season, the role got recasted. I've tried to look into why this happened, but from the report that I've seen, there weren't any details given. All I've seen is people speculating on Reddit about what happened. People say that Joey picked to focus on another show that I'm going to be talking about shortly, potential vaccine requirements, Inspector Deck not being happy with his portrayal in the show, etc. Like I said, this is just pure speculation and theories from fans of the show. 2019 was the year that Joey really got into his acting bag, with Joey appearing in the show Grown-ish, where he portrays himself. He has only ever appeared in 4 episodes of the series. The show Boomerang is another show that Joey acted in this year by playing the character of Camden Knight. Going into 2020, and Joey Bada released a 3-track EP in July of that year. The EP was inspired by Joey's rebirth a month before, where he participated in a traditional voodoo ceremony to, in his words, inspire black people to realize their power and take it back. This was thought to be a prelude to Joey's 3rd album that he was teasing at the time, but his 3rd album did not come out until 2 years later. In the fall of 2020, Joey acted as Carter James in a short film titled Distant Strangers. In the short film, Joey portrays a graphic designer who gets stuck in a time loop where he repeatedly gets into an altercation with a cop that results in his death each time. This role really took a toll on Joey mentally. In interviews, he's talked about having to go to therapy because of the movie. I'm not gonna lie, I had to do therapy after I shot 2 Distant Strangers because it was a lot of internalization. I remember the first scene in the movie when I'm coming out of the girl's apartment and police see me and they slam me on the floor. I remember shooting that in real time, and people were driving by, they would stop and they would roll down their window and they'd be like, yo, is this real or is this for a movie? What's going on? You good? It's traumatic for these innocent bystanders as well. Fortunately for him, the short was awarded an Oscar for Best Live Action Short. Despite this, Joey was never paid. To tell the truth, I didn't even get paid for that. It was a short film. It was a project, an experiment. We did the short film because originally we were supposed to do a full-length feature film, a full movie, but once I got involved, it activated a lot of people. Once they saw my execution, everybody wanted to be a part of the production team, and that obviously helped it get pushed up in the Recording Academy, and we won the Oscar. The next year, in 2021, Joey took up his most well-known role, which was portraying the character of the drug lord Unique in the show Power 3: Raising Kanan. His execution of the role has been widely praised, and I was blown away when I saw Joey act on the show. I will say I have not seen the full show yet. I've been really sleeping on the whole Power universe, but I've seen compilations of Unique in the show online, and Joey absolutely kills the role. He really comes across as a ruthless drug lord. I will say, if you have not seen the show yet, I highly advise you to skip ahead a couple minutes in the video because I don't want to spoil anything for you. Alright, so quick update. So originally in the script, I went on for like 3 or 4 minutes talking about Joey's betrayal as the character Unique. Since then, there's been a lot, and when I say a lot, there's been a lot of developments in his character and the show overall. So what I will say is just watch the show and you will understand what I mean. But like I said, when he was working on the show, he was also making music that would go on to make his third album, 2000. Multiple singles for the album were released, which led fans being excited about Joey releasing an album after years. Fans had to wait a little longer because Joey ended up delaying his album for another month. This news came out in June of 2022, and the album did not come out until late July the next month. Joey Bada said that the delay was because of sample clearance issues, but fans called BS on this. People speculated that Joey actually postponed the album due to news of Drake dropping a surprise album, which he did by dropping his album Honestly Nevermind. People thought that Joey postponed it because an artist as big as Drake would overshadow his release and get all the attention, which is true, but like I said, Joey denied this. Finally, after the release of his last album, Joey finally released his third studio album, 2000. This is said to be a sequel to his classic debut mixtape, 1999. In a tweet, Joey said that if 1999 was about a kid from Brooklyn, New York, trying to make it big and put his friends on, 2000 is about that same kid who's now a man and on the other side of the fence. Similar vibe and different perspectives. By far, my favorite song on the album has to be Brand New 911.
Brand new 911 off the lot. It ain't even cost me a lot. Yeah.
When speaking about the album, Joey said that 2000 was indicative of how he felt at the time. He was fully in the light compared to his first two albums where he was in the dark. He was deeply depressed during those time periods of his life. I also can't forget to mention that Joey acted in the movie Beauty that released in 2022, portraying a character named Sammy. Unlike Joey's previous projects, Beauty was widely panned by fans and critics. As of now, 2000 is the last album that Joey has released. Fans hope that Joey Bada releases another album sometime this year. I know that in early 2023, Joey said that he was actively knee-deep in working on his new album. He was working very hard to get it out ASAP, but he did not want to put a date on it to get fans' hopes up. When I was in middle school, you couldn't tell me that Joey was not the best rapper out there. He was my favorite rapper by a mile, and my friends back then thought that I was weird for listening to him because they were listening to people like Drake, Lil Wayne, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, etc. I still think that Joey is one of the best in his era. Some people think that he came out in the wrong era because if he was out in the 90s, his music would have been more appreciated by the masses. That's an opinion, but I think that Joey has had a great music career, especially for being independent. Of course, I think that Joey could have been way bigger if he chose to take that route, but he chose not to. I do think that he's underrated in a sense because I feel like people don't mention his name enough when they talk about the best rappers out right now or even the best rappers of their era. I feel like his legacy in music is already solidified. You never know because someone is always one hit away from going on a run, but I don't think that he's musically going to get any bigger than what he is now. Hopefully for fans, new music is on the way, but if I'm being completely honest, I would like to see Joey get into his acting bag more. I think that he'll always make music, but I think he could become a really good actor as well. He's definitely a rapper that has been good at making that transition so far. He's already given fans over a decade of music to listen to. I made a video on Joey a couple years ago, but what recently gave me the idea to make this video was a comment I saw on Instagram. It was when Joey talked about how his music career affected him being written off of Power. I remember a woman in the comments saying that Joey does not make good music and that he should just stick to rapping. There were a couple of other people who commented the same, and I just thought to myself that I needed to make this video to remind people of how dope of an artist Joey actually is. The man was in the high school rapping way better than grown men. He was making classic projects at the age of 17. Joey was not even legally able to buy lottery tickets at the time. But thanks to everyone who stuck through until the end. I know I'm going to get comments about people talking about capital STEEZ, but like I said, I really wanted to focus on Joey and his career. I didn't really want to talk about STEEZ's death or the problems that came after his death. This includes Joey Badass's whole beef with Troy Ave, which I never really went into detail with. I felt like them beefing on who was the #1 independent artist in the world was stupid because technically they both were not. Tech 9 is a bigger and a more successful independent artist than both of them, and he was definitely at that time as well. But with their beef, you had Joey praising Troy after the Twitter spat, then subliminally dissing him in a song. Then you had Troy responding with a diss track towards Joey while also mocking capital STEEZ's death. Just ridiculous, man, ridiculous. But anyway, all in all, let me know what you guys thought of the video in the comment section below. I love you guys with all my heart. Peace.